This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your mower off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Before I get started, I ask that everybody that's following in right now, that's watching this show live, to please hit that like button. If you're not watching this show live and you just so happen to catch it after it's live, still hit that like button. Thank you for everybody that likes and subscribes to this channel. This is the most interactive New Orleans Saints channel that you're ever going to find on YouTube. And on this edition, we're going to be talking about Saints Minicamp. Today is the first day of Saints Minicamp. It kicked off today, and there are a lot of storylines. Shouts out to the people on the ground that are putting out their coverage and letting us know what's going on so we can talk a little bit about some of the storylines. So Minicamp is an exciting time because it's mandatory. It's mandatory. You got a lot of guys showing up. And number one, I have an appreciation for the New Orleans Saints because this all season, you're not seeing a bunch of controversy when it comes to contract negotiations, people not sitting out, all this noise here. You got a first-year head coach with the New Orleans Saints in Dennis Allen, and you don't have that type of distraction going on. You even have Michael Thomas on the sidelines. Michael Thomas has been cited outside of minicamp. Now, he's not participating, but he is in uniform, which is a plus. So for all those people out there criticizing Michael Thomas and talking about is Michael Thomas going to play? Is Michael Thomas going to be at camp? Why is he not out there? Finally, you got some transparency. If you go to the State of the Saints podcast page, there's a picture of Michael Thomas standing on the sideline, so some of y'all can stop crying. All right. We also seen Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara has shown up. This is his first time. Didn't take part in OTA, but out there running some routes and looking as crisp as he always does, and looking as explosive as he does every single year. You also have some storylines that we're going to get into that includes David Johnson. Some of you may know who David Johnson is. Some of you may not. He's not a household name, but if you have an appreciation for the NFL like I do, and I know you do, some of you, you know that David Johnson is a really solid running back. He is trying out for the New Orleans Saints, and we mentioned Alvin Kamara. The big elephant in the room is Alvin Kamara is out there, but he has a trial that is looming and coming up real soon in August for the situation that happened during Pro Bowl weekend that involved a guy getting beat down pretty badly. So he has to go to trial for that. But that's not discouraging Alvin Kamara for showing up. So shouts out to him, understanding no matter what the situation is, you want to be there for the team. David Johnson. David Johnson is a guy who, like I said, isn't a household name, but he's one of those guys to me that never really got a fair shake in the National Football League at times. I feel like he was always the bridesmaid and never the bride, even though he was really productive. Back in 2016, he had 15 straight games of 100 yards from scrimmage, beating out legendary Hall of Fame running back Barry Sanders. When you're mentioned in any Brett with Barry Sanders for any statistical thing, is a plus. David Johnson received a contract extension. He received a 4-year, $39 million contract from the Arizona Cardinals, and he did have a few injuries. Now, he had an injury where he dislocated his wrist, and he also just had some, issues where he was sharing the backfield, and it cut down on his production. Once again, he was never the bride. He was always the bridesmaid. He reminds me a lot of Arian Foster. That's who he reminds me of. A guy who, when he plays and you see him out there, he's extremely productive. The whole dislocating of the wrist thing, I just feel like that is something that shouldn't be a big issue. When you start to think about the running back position, if it's a knee injury, an ankle injury, or something like that, if it's bothering his lower extremities, then I would say, hey, you know what I'm saying, maybe you need to maybe look in another direction. But David Johnson is a seasoned veteran. He's 30 years old, and you're looking for a guy to possibly be a placeholder in case Alvin Kamara has to miss some time getting suspended because of the situation that happened in Las Vegas. But David Johnson, to me, would be a good plus. He's a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a guy that can run in between the tackles, and along with Mark Ingram, along with maybe some of these young running backs, they can be able to hold down the backfield until Alvin Kamara gets back. But that's all good if David Johnson passes this whole tryout thing. Also, we seen that tryouts, according to Nick Underhill, Cidio Clemente, former New Orleans Saint, left the New Orleans Saints, got a big contract with the Houston Texans to be a starter. He is a guy that has been solid. He was a guy that was kind of serving as that Will Clapp role, went with the New Orleans Saints, a guy that came in, as a backup. And when he did come in, he was extremely productive, a guy that was really solid on the offensive line. And you need guys like Clemente, a guy that's familiar with the organization, familiar with some of the guys that's on the offensive line, played alongside some of them. Now, I want to say maybe Ryan Ramczyk and Andrus Peat are the guys that he played alongside. So you do have some level of familiarity with that. And when you have a solid guard like Clemente has been in the National Football League, you need that kind of guy, especially when you're going up against some of those interior linemen in the NFC South that include guys, like Grady Jarrett, guys like, you got Keem Hicks, and you also got Villa, guys like that. So you need a guy that's going to be pretty solid. And you need a guy, to me, that needs to compete with some of these guys like a Cesar Ruiz. So, okay, I don't think that Clemente at this stage in his career can beat out a guy like Cesar Ruiz. But if a guy goes down at the guard position, which they have over the last couple of years, you have a solid backup that can come in and can be just as productive as your starter on the offensive line. So a lot of storylines coming out of New Orleans. Excited about minicamp. Once again, the plus is you don't have a bunch of guys that are out here that are complaining about contracts, that are upset about the situation, that is not pleased about this and that, like you see on some of these other teams. You can go out here and you can be productive. You can work on chemistry, and you can work on verbiage when it comes to working with your teammates. So that is a plus, and you have to be excited because there were no holdouts, absolutely no holdouts. So that is a plus. Always good when you can have an off season with very little interruptions and very little controversy. But we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and read some of your comments. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to those that are watching. Just so happen to can't take part in the chat, but we still appreciate you for being here. We're going to start with King Arthur. King Arthur says, ATJ, when that intro came on, I low-key wanted to do the Josephine Johnny. Real New Orleans folk know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Josephine Johnny. Lord have mercy. Sun's out, guns out. Yeah, man. Look, man, it's hot out here. It's about 90 some odd degrees out here in South Carolina. So, and I just came from the gym. So I just finished working out, got my workout on and everything like that. And I got some things to do this afternoon. Got to take the packing man to go get his haircut. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm right after this, I'm headed to the barbershop. So, yeah. Says mandatory OTA begins when we catch TJ live to dish on it. What a time to be alive. Eugene, thank you so much for being here, man. Shouts out to HBCUs out there. Who that? TJ, Young City Night Ward. What's going on? Appreciate you being here. Mario says David Johnson broke his wrist a couple years ago, messed up my fantasy team. Yeah, man, it was unfortunate. He had a dislocation of his wrist. I think he was supposed to miss like 3 to 5 months, but instead he ended up like being on injury reserve and missing the entire season. So he had a little bit of a setback. I understand, guys can be kind of skeptical. Fans can be skeptical of David Johnson, but at least you got a guy that's coming in that really doesn't have any issues with his lower extremities. And you also have a guy, for the most part, that shared a backfield with other individuals. So even though he's 30 years old, he doesn't have he has more tread on the tires than you would see most 30-year-old running backs have. Most of the guys that are 30 years old, was every down back, didn't have the opportunity to share the backfield, you'll probably start to see a little bit of a decline. But what the Saints would be asking David Johnson to do, I think that he would fit that role really well. I don't expect for him to be that every down back. I just expect for him to share that backfield alongside Mark Ingram and maybe someone else. And then, you just mix and match it up. And also, in third down situations, maybe, for the screen game, which he is really good at. And I respect the guy because he has really good field vision, man. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he makes quick, smart decisions. And that's what you need, from, a running back. And especially a guy who, has been around the league for quite some time. So you have that veteran experience going for you. TJ, do you think it's fair that even if acquitted of the charges, innocent players are still disciplined by a league, or is it still guilty in a court of public opinion? Well, I think public opinion reigns supreme in today's society, Ken Arthur. That's just something that we have to deal with. I don't agree with it. I'm not going to lie to you, but we know the power of outrage, and we know what cancel culture can actually do. And for the NFL not to do anything about some of these situations when you have an outcry, it can damage the product. A lot of this stuff is about fear. It's not even about who's right and who's wrong sometimes. It's about fear. It's about optics. It's about, people getting mad at something that we're not doing. So we have to be proactive, all right? And a lot of them, they say they're being proactive, but in fact, they're being reactive. You know what I'm saying? Like they just see a bunch of people getting upset, and all of a sudden they start to get a little nervous. I believe in our court system. I believe that the court of public opinion is stronger than our court system because, once again, cancel culture is real. And when people start talking about the bottom line, which I won't say majority, all of these owners and the NFL actually cares about, then they start to get a little nervous. I don't think that is fair. Some people thought that I was being critical of Deshaun Watson, when the last show. I seen some people in the comments who I really feel like didn't listen to the show. One thing that really bothers me about people is when they read the headlines and don't look at the entire article. It bothers me. Like if we had a conversation and like the only thing that you heard was the topic of the conversation, and all of a sudden you just start going off. I just feel like that's just absolutely asinine, right? People were getting mad at me because they felt like I was saying that the Saints dodged the bullet with Deshaun Watson because I felt that he was guilty. Basically, people made their own narrative. They didn't look at what I said and what the conversation was. I said the Saints dodged the bullet because they would be in the same situation that Ken Arthur is talking about, the court of public opinion. And the Saints would have to be, reactive, about the situation. And it would cause a lot of controversy and a lot of criticism. And that's something that you do not want, especially as the Saints are going through a transition with head coaches and young players. and quarterbacks and offensive schemes and all that kind of stuff there, you need to make sure that the team is focused. That was my stance, right? But I definitely agree that we should reserve our judgment till all the facts come out on any situation, not just Deshaun, Deshaun situation in life. I will not, shalling be a part of the majority when it comes to like just fake outrage, because in reality, if it doesn't pan out to be the way that you want it to be, you come out looking like an idiot. But of course, people won't apologize for looking like an idiot. They just pretend like it never happened. But I reserve my judgment till all the facts come out, and I think people should do the same. It shouldn't just be 4, 5, 6 tweets all agreeing with one another. So therefore, I agree too. Nah, that's whack. That's whack to me. Be your own person. Believe your own. You know what I'm saying? Research and investigate for yourself, because if you don't be careful, you end up being a bot. The fan of that State of the Saints podcast, thank you very much for the $2 says introduce me, TJ. Josh, thank you, man, for being here. Shouts out to Josh, man. Iowa State University. Shouts out to them Cyclones out there. Appreciate you for being here, man. Eugene says David Johnson was a fantasy league winner before those injuries, though. He's a steady vet who doesn't fumble. Fits the bill for a few games in a timeshare. Yeah, I mean, look, that's what you want. You want a seasoned veteran that know what the heck he's doing. No disrespect to some of these young players out here, but a lot of these guys, they have to catch up to the speed of the game, and it takes them a few weeks. You have a guy like David Johnson who's familiar with the National Football League, knows how to run the rock, and is a pro's pro. I think it helps you. Not to say that these young guys can't contribute, but the speed of the National Football League, is different from when you was in college football. You might have been a big fish in a very little pond. You might have been the fastest guy on the team. You might have been the fastest guy in your conference. But in the NFL, everybody fast. I mean, you have 300-pound linemen that can run you down. So it takes young running backs, times in order for them to develop. That's why you start to see like a lot of these young running backs coming on a little bit later in the season versus coming out the gate, unless your name Adrian Peterson or Chris Johnson or something like that. Guys who are anomalies, in my opinion, guys that just hit the ground running. As much as like with Alvin Kamara, I mean, he didn't hit the ground running. It took him a few weeks in order for him to like start to come on. In Kareem Hunt, he kind of started off a little bit, out the gate. Then he kind of tapered down a little bit, gave Alvin Kamara opportunity to catch up. So it takes these guys time. And if you have a veteran that can kind of make things easier for these young running backs to come along and don't feel so much pressure to try to, know so much so fast, it helps them become better as time goes on. And when you need those guys to be at their best during playoff time. So I think that's a plus to have a guy like David Johnson who can be available. Mario, the king of Nintendo. Let's see. The court of public opinion is exactly why Watson's situation will escalate to a point the league will have no choice but to drop the hammer on him by training camp. It is what it is. I agree with that. I agree that it's going to cause them to do something, but at the same time, they have to be careful because, I mean, they could put themselves in a position to get sued, But if they do suspend him, I'm pretty sure they're going to have to suspend him with pay because, I mean, you don't have any proof that he did those things that they said he did. Now, I'm sorry. People might get mad at me for saying that for some apparent reason. Like when you tell the truth or say something that's obviously out there, people get mad for you expressing that. Like we're supposed to pretend as if these things aren't true. Like regardless or not, you can talk about the court system all you want to. We have our picks and chooses, and when the court system actually works, if a guy that we feel is guilty gets found guilty, then justice prevails. If a guy is found guilty that wasn't guilty, then all of a sudden, like, man, we've been the court system has failed us, all that kind of stuff there. So we try to pick and choose those things, which I don't agree with, man. But at the same time, it's embarrassing the business. And in the words of Melvin Franklin on the Temptation movie, no one man is bigger than his group. No one man is bigger than the National Football League. I don't care how much talent you possess. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how many all pros you have in you. I don't care how many games will solidify you as a gold jacket member in Canton. Nobody's bigger than the NFL, and nobody's messing with their bottom line. And as we've seen over the course of time, they're willing to do anything and everything in order to try to maintain the bottom line, regardless. Okay, so they don't care. That's just what it is. Sorry. Uh, Dwayne says, I think it's a possibility he may have asked for some advice, but it's up to the women to agree or not. Big Ben raped a woman and he got slapped on his hand. Too much bigotry in America. I don't know. I wasn't there. Okay. I don't know what the severity of the situation is. It's all he said, she said to me at this particular point. I'm not in the speculation business. I refuse to be in the speculation business. But I feel like it's there's a little bit different circumstances. You know, I think with the whole Big Ben situation, I think at that particular time, uh, people weren't really caring about women. I'm just being serious. Like they didn't care about that. You know, a lot of people just looked at them like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like guys, men will be men, you know what I'm saying? Boys will be boys type stuff. I'm this is not my opinion. This is just what it was. All right. And then once, you know, Bill Cosby, you know what I'm saying, like got it, you know what I'm saying, like they start coming down Bill Cosby about the roofies in the drink, and you start talking about like all these other things that were going on in Hollywood with Harvey Weinstein and you know what I'm saying, and Jeffrey Epstein and all them other cats, you know what I'm saying, and all of a sudden there was this movement that came around and people start to shed light on some of these situations, you know, like, and all of a sudden, you know, women empowerment and speaking up about women and defending women became the cause. So I just think that it's a certain era, right? It's almost like in the 1960s, well, I say like the early 1960s. They talk about a women's role, you know what I'm saying, being a homemaker, barefoot pregnant, you know what I'm saying, in the laundry room. As time went on, there was a feminist movement that came along and felt like women should be more independent. They shouldn't have to just be relying on a guy. So different eras bring on different circumstances. So Big Ben just so happened to do that in a time when that wasn't a hot topic. It was at the beginning of what social media can actually be versus Deshaun Watson doing this in modern day society when you can get news like that, if that makes any sense, right? I mean, you can know what's going on the other side of the country in a matter of seconds. When Big Ben was doing all this and all this kind of stuff was going on, social media was kind of in its infancy. It was starting to become what it is today, but it wasn't exactly that just yet. So I think that that's kind of why he flew under the radar, not so much about, you know, I don't think, you know what I'm saying, with the whole race thing. I feel like in that particular situation, it didn't because you had situations like the kicker for the Giants. I mean, he basically got kicked out of the league, you know what I'm saying, because of sexual assault or whatever like that, or domestic violence or what have you. So, I mean, you have situations like that. So I just think that Big Ben you know, kind of flew under the radar. Tyrone, thank you very much for the $20. Said TJ, show me out one of the biggest fans of this podcast, one of the top 10 dancers of the city of New Orleans. Also, how can I send you a clip? Well, if you want to send me a clip, Tyrone, I appreciate the $20, man. You can send it to stateofthesaints@gmail.com, or you can go to the State of the Saints podcast Facebook page that's in the comments right now, and you can go ahead and hit that link and you can message me there. The NFLPA would definitely push back if the league tries to deny Watson any of his money. Between that and the court of public opinion, things could get interesting. I agree, but if you don't have any evidence that the dude did what he did, how can you take his money away from him? I mean, you can suspend him because it's your league. You can do whatever the heck you want, you know, but taking his money, that's a whole different can of worms right there. TJ, do you think Olave needs to put on a little bit of muscle to deal with the hits from the defensive secondaries. I don't want him to struggle with injuries like a T.Y. Hilton because of his size. Well, I feel like as time goes on, as he gets into what I like to call his grown man body, you will probably start to see him gain a little bit of weight. I mean, it's just kind of what young guys are, rookies are when they first come into the NFL. They're kind of scrawny, smaller guys, and they probably come from universities. In his case, I'm pretty sure they do, but they have really good strength and conditioning programs. But at the same time, uh, guys have to grow, man. I mean, go back and look at a picture when you was like 20 years old or 19 years old. I mean, you probably was much smaller than what you are now. Like, I mean, it takes you some time in order for you to develop into your grown man body. I don't have a concern about Chris Olave because in modern day NFL, I mean, cornerbacks and safeties can't really hit guys the way that they once did anymore. So, I mean, you can go on that suicide mission in a slide. No, the guys can't, they can't ear hole tackle you for the most part. So I don't think his size would have anything to do with it. And it's not like Keen Arthur, like he's Deontay Hardy or something like that. That's the guy that I'm genuinely concerned about. He's extremely talented, but I feel like injuries are always going to be, always going to be something he's going to have to deal with. There was a difference between him and Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles like 5'6", 5'7", but Darren Sproles like 190 to 200. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he was stocky. You know what I'm saying? But he was small. He was, But I just think that Chris Olave should be fine, man. I mean, today's NFL, I mean, he'll be just fine. Let's see. Jack Del Rio made some dumb statements. I would like to hear your comments on them. Here's the thing, man. Yes, look, dumb comments is, I guess, what I'm saying, yeah, people are entitled to their opinion. Like, I don't want to be, and I don't want to live in a world where people can express themselves, because here's the thing. I want people to express themselves because I would like to know exactly where you stand, right? Look, I'm not one of those people that want to silence people, because I just think that it messes with the social order of things. If a person is a racist, talk. You know what I'm saying? Like let us know. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you stand. Because I love transparency. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to communication, right? Think about this. Would you want to know a person is a racist? Would you want to know, a person is a sexist? Would you want to, you know what I'm saying? Would you want that? I would, because think about this. What if you don't know a person is prejudiced, right? And they are a member of a Fortune 500 company, and they're prohibiting you from getting an opportunity, right? I would rather know versus me wondering. When it comes to Jack Del Rio, I don't know what the heck was going on with that, to be honest with you. I just think that he has some strong views about society. He's entitled to his opinion, but you have to understand that some guys on that team can be offended by some of the things that you're saying. A lot of people aren't looking at the situation on January 6th as what he said, as a scrum or touch up or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is a touch up? You know what I'm saying? Touch up when you go to the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? When your lining kind of messed up, you got what they call an edit point. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get a little line, a touch up. You know what I'm saying? A little fade tape in the back. I just feel like it was worded wrong, but he has to understand the ramifications of his actions. And maybe a guy that has a level of respect for him may not be looking at him the same way today as they did before that. But at the same time, I mean, if he believes in what he believes, who am I to say that he shouldn't, believe what he believes? People are people, and I just think that that's just the way that it is, man. I am not in the business of trying to control people's lives. I'm just not. I mean, that I'll never be that way. But I mean, he has to understand the ramification of his actions. Some guys may be looking at him completely different today, as they did the day before. ATJ, nobody talking about that weirdo Hugh Hefner. Nah, because eh, that is a fair point. That is a fair point. Um, I don't understand why, but he's definitely a guy that you would think would be out there. But for some apparent reason, man, I don't know if it's NDAs. I don't know what's going on with, what I'm saying, with that. But you would think that somebody would come out and say something about him. But also, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he's not here. You know what I'm saying? Like most people that deal with those type of situations, they don't try to shed light on people. It seemed like to me like they wanna touch the people that's here. They want to affect the people that's among us right now. And I'm pretty sure years from now, somebody's gonna come out. They're gonna have a documentary that come out and talking about them and stuff like that. But I mean, you are officially on the clock, Ruiz. Like Billy, the First Avenue club on Purple Rain was said, you better kick butt, kid, or else. Hit that Purple Rain falsetto. Nah, I can't hit that, man. I can't hit that. Women's liberation movement, basically. TJ, I heard that Mike D Minicamp opinion piece. He said one player that stood out more than others was linebacker Caden Ellis. I've been waiting on him to emerge. Zach Bourne, not so much. Thought he would be the one. Yeah, Da. Look, Caden Ellis is a guy that kind of came along, and he is a guy that kind of flies under the radar. It's not a guy that we normally talk about because I think we just have these expectations about him, right? Special teams guy at best, but being in the locker room with a guy like Demario Davis, with a guy when Quan Alexander was there, getting some leadership, understanding, where you need to be, getting knowledge. I think it helps. And Caden Ellis, man, he played pretty decent last season, man. He had some injuries that kept him out a few games, but when he did play, he was effective. We know about that controversial call when he hit Ryan Tannehill and Marcus Williams intercepted the football, and they called a roughing the passer on him for some apparent reason, a phantom call, which completely shifted the momentum of the game. So I mean, he has a lot of promise, So I'm looking forward to seeing it, and that's what you want, man. I mean, whenever you get some homegrown talent developing and being able to contribute is always a plus because I don't want to say less money, but you don't have to wonder or have to go out here trying to look for a guy that can do what Caden Ellis is doing. You already got that in house, so it's always a plus, especially when you actually drafted a guy. The Browns have already covered themselves this year with a $1 million salary cap hit by Watson. I believe they're keeping Baker just in case this man gets suspended for a year and then let Baker walk. Well, Mocha, look, if I'm Baker Mayfield, I don't know if I'm playing. I don't know if I'm interested. Okay. You can't renege on this situation. And, I don't understand how people don't understand why this dude is mad. Like you have these pundits that are saying, well, Baker Mayfield need to be a professional. He need to be a pro's pro. Like seriously, in what world does that work? Right? In what world does that work? Where you're doing your job to the best of your ability. You're replacing a guy that wasn't very good, and you come in and you bring something to the table, and then all of a sudden they saying, what I'm saying? You bringing something to the table is good, but it's not good enough. We're going to go with this other guy. I mean, how would that make you feel? Like in any other world, what I'm saying? Any other situation, I mean, everybody would be in favor of Baker Mayfield, right? Forget you, man. I mean, I tried. I came in when I came to this organization, y'all was 0-16. The first game y'all won after going 0-16 was because I was the starting quarterback. Y'all made the playoffs for the first time in I don't know how long because I was the quarterback. I don't understand like how anybody could be upset with this dude if he don't show up and want to be a part of the Browns organization. I just don't. Like that nowhere ever will, this be okay besides football or sports. I just don't get it. Go out there and compete. I don't get it, man. It's wrong. They did the dude wrong. They did him dirty. So you made the bed, lay in it, right? You know what I'm saying? Don't expect for me to hop up in the bed too. You know what I'm saying? That's just not it. I understand completely why this dude is upset. And I don't feel like his career should be affected by it. Good Lord, I dropped in at a juicy time. The gooch. The fan of the State of the Saints podcast, exactly, TJ, says the beauty of free speech is that it helps you identify your enemies, and the enemies you can't see is far more dangerous than the enemy you can see. Yeah. I just say, man, but y'all talking to somebody that talk to people for a living, right? And listen for a living. Like I interview people all the time. Y'all, some of you have had the opportunity to watch me interview people, and then, at my job at 90.9 out here, I interview people within the community and, music artists or what have you. So, man, I mean, look, I be quiet. I listen to what they have to say, right? And you can draw your conclusion based on what you actually gain, right? Calling somebody out and hushing people and silencing people, that's not a world that I want to be in. That's not a world I want to live in, right? I just think that we have to be careful that we're not becoming cyborgs, right? Where everybody just thinks the same. Everybody doesn't have a viewpoint, where people are so afraid to express themselves that they rather say nothing at all. I would never be in favor of that. I'll never be in favor of that at all, right? Because we based our opinions and we based our views where we stay, where we eat, you know what I'm saying, like the company that we keep. All of this is based on communication. All of this is, right? Whether it's verbal or non-verbal, right? If you know what I'm saying, if you stay in a neighborhood or you see some people, you know what I'm saying, that every time you see them, they always in some type of mischief, always some type of scrum or something like that, that's not the type of people you want to be around, right? When I was a kid growing up, you had troublemakers in the neighborhood, and you knew not to be around those guys because trouble will find you, right? Is verbal, non-verbal, right? People that's, you know what I'm saying, doing all kind of stuff, saying all type of things, rather, this ain't the type of people I want to be around. But you learn those things through communication, interpersonal relationships, verbal or non-verbal. That's how you do it. So if you start silencing people, how do you know where they stand? How would you know how to dictate your life based on like the conversations and some of the relationships that you can have? So I just think we have to be careful. I don't always agree with everything somebody says, but I would defend their right to say it, right? Look, I don't think it hurts me by somebody expressing themselves. Rather, I agree with what they're saying or not. I mean, I would never be that way. And I don't think anybody else should either. Let's scroll down a little bit. Fred Thomas over Lattimore. Man, what are you talking about? Fred Thomas over Lattimore. Fred Thomas for what? No, I don't agree with that one right there, man. Let me.
Boy, if you don't get.
Yeah, man, get up out of here with that. TJ, thoughts on us resigning Quan Alexander? Would love to see him back in a Saints unit. Constant, look, I think that Quan Alexander is an easy observation. He's an easy look. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what you get with him. I think the Saints are taking this opportunity to see if they actually have what Quan can possess, right? And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't seem like anybody like knocking down the doors to try to acquire Quan Alexander. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't see that. So if it doesn't pan out, I think that he will more than likely come back. So you can always bring him back. But at this particular time, you look and see what you have inside of your organization. But this is a plus right now that they haven't reached out to him just yet. It may be a testament to what they're seeing from the linebacker position right now. So sometimes guys not being there at that particular time can be two things. Organizations are looking for a guy to step up, or they feel like what they're seeing right now, guys are stepping up. So I mean, if the Saints want to go back to him, I'm pretty sure he'll be available. He did help lead them to the playoffs. To my Fred Thomas. Uh, People really be thinking these athletes are supposed to trade in their humanity and feelings once they sign a contract, make it make sense. Yeah, I just think that we do hold these athletes to expectations that we wouldn't even hold ourselves, And I get it, right? Football is football, and we supposed to like be pros, and we supposed to understand it's a business, but um, it's a human emotion, right? It's like, to me, it's equivalent to if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife, and you giving everything that you possibly can to the relationship. You doing everything that you can to be a good person for that person. Then all of a sudden, like, they just drop you, like, for no apparent reason whatsoever, because they like, oh well, I found somebody else. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, how would that make you feel? How would it make you feel? Like, you can be like, man, I'm a player. I don't care. Whatever, dude. If anything in this life, if you're passionate about it and you give your all, and somebody takes it away from you in any way, it will affect you. And if you haven't reached that level in your life, just keep living. And you'll see exactly what we're talking about when it comes to Baker Mayfield. I am not a free speech absolutist, but to a disagree, I agree with you. To a degree, I just agree with you. Well, look, I feel like this. Look, um, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, free speech is free, but it comes with a price, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it comes with a price, right? You have to understand what comes with it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to abolish, you know what I'm saying, free speech at all. But at the same time, you have to understand what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? What comes with it. Man, like I said, I don't want the whole entire world to be a cyborg. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want it to be a cyborg. I don't want everybody just to think the same. The beauty of this world is you have so many people from different walks of life who who think differently. And in a lot of things, man, I just feel like I just think we can't just be so quick to label people as prejudice. You know what I'm saying? Like I as a black man, I don't expect for a white person to know what it feels like to be black. If you didn't grow up poor, I wouldn't expect for you to understand what it's like to be poor. A lot of people, we think that this world, because of social media, is small, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? People grow up in different cultures. People grow up with different ideologies. They grow up with different mind frames. And then all of a sudden, we go out here in this world and we interact with each other, rather it's in a workplace, rather it's at school, and we just think that everybody thinks like us, but they don't. And just imagine, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's equivalent to me growing up as a Christian, going to a Baptist church. Every single Sunday. Some of y'all know, man, my grandfather a preacher. We went to church all the time. It's like somebody that don't believe in God telling me that Jesus doesn't exist. Like, what are you insane? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't believe you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it just, to me, that's what it's like sometimes talking to a person. If they can't relate, or you know what I'm saying, they don't understand your point of view, we can't just shut them off and just be like, oh, you just, you know what I'm saying, you this, you that. Like, nah, man. Like, everybody is different. I mean, we have to understand that. And we have to be careful not to just start labeling people and disconnecting ourselves and becoming like this tribal community. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I just, the beauty of this world is us being able to communicate, and also us to be able to grow and develop and learn from one another. And I just think that if we get away from that, it's a problem, man. And that's a problem I don't want to have. Uh, Let me see. Why you think Herschel Walker lied about graduating from UGA, being in the top 1% of his college graduating class and working as an FBI agent? Was he right? Well, look, I don't know what's really going on with Herschel Walker. I really don't. That's probably one of them situations where uh maybe CTE is involved. I'm not sure. Herschel Walker is one of those guys to me. Don't have a bunch of real people around him. Like Herschel Walker is a legend. Herschel Walker is a guy who probably, you know, I don't want to say probably, but I'm pretty sure he's around a bunch of people that's not going to tell him about himself or let him know how ridiculous he sounds. And some people are like that. Like some people are so disconnected with society that they don't, you know, they don't know what's really going on. And if you don't have a bunch of people around you, like, man, nah, bro, what you said was wrong. I don't think you should have said that. Maybe you need to look at this. You ever have like a homeboy, a homegirl, like they listen to you talk and you just talking some nonsense and they pull you to the side, like, nah, man, that ain't it, man. Like, I think you need to go and look at this or research this or revalue. Like people that you know has your best interest at heart. I don't think he has that. And I just think that he just talk and talk and talk and you know, nobody really just hold him accountable. You have people like that. When people become rich and successful, sometimes people want to ride their coattails and they don't want to lose that. So, they don't tell them about themselves. That's why you always need real people on your team. I don't care where you go in life. Uh if there was no free speech, Falcons and Bucks fans couldn't say stupid stuff and we could laugh at them after they said exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's the whole point. That's well, people are entitled to their opinion. It is up to us to decide if we want to roll with that opinion or not. Boy, it would be so many rappers in jail right now if it wasn't free speech. Amen. Thank everyone for the birthday wishes. Yeah, Jared, man. Happy birthday to you, man. I hope you're enjoying your day. Hope you're enjoying your day today, man. Shouts out to my brother too, man. Today is my brother Sam's birthday. Happy birthday if he's watching this right now, man. Man, we getting up there. He's a year older than I am. So, TJ, any concerns about Jameis' accuracy issues? I know the receiving corps has their issues, but I did also see Winston. Any word on that? Well, you crab leggy boy. I see what you did there, Anthony. But look, no, I have absolutely no problem with Jameis Winston. I don't have any problem with his accuracy or anything like that. Jameis Winston is one of those guys that works really hard to improve on his limitations, and I just don't believe that is going to be an issue. And I understand that as Saints fans, we used to accuracy, right? I mean, Drew Brees, the most accurate quarterback of all time, if you look at it from a statistical category. But everybody's not going to be Drew, and some guys have to work on it. Some guys aren't going to get out of bed and be able to throw a 20-yard on a rope like Drew would, or hit a guy in stride on a wheel route all the time. Even though Jameis is really good at those wheel routes, it's stuff that you have to work on, and I expect for him to be better. And it also helps, Anthony, that you have guys with a really large catch radius. So sometimes, those I feel like what was lacking from the New Orleans Saints were those acrobatic catches. And one thing that really ticked me off, and I hate to give the devil his due, but the Dallas Cowboys, when the Saints played them, you had Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. They was out there making these like incredible catches on run, like back shoulder phase and jumping up and catching the 50-50 balls. I just think that that's helpful sometimes at quarterback. Sometimes, quarterback got to put it up there and your receiver has to make a play. Luckily for the Saints, they actually have two guys that we know that can do it. Chris Olave, we're hoping, right? And if all things considered, he will be that guy. So it's good to have guys that can be able to make plays for you. TJ, them Georgia people of a certain learning really elected Herschel to public office. Well, they also who was that? Who man? Who was the coach of Auburn who ended up becoming senator? Was it wasn't Thibodeau? What was that guy name? Somebody help me out. But I mean, what was the coach name of Auburn? Somebody help me out who ended up becoming a senator. I know somebody know what it is. But anyway, these guys in the South, they love their legends, right? I mean, but it's no different. And you can lie all day and night. But if Drew Brees ran for public office in New Orleans or ran in the state of Louisiana, some of y'all would vote basically on the fact that he's Drew Brees. Come on now, let's be serious about this. Tommy Tuberville, that's his name. And I didn't even see nobody put it in there. Yep, Tommy Tuberville. Yeah. I don't know why they just popped in my head. But anyway, we know for a fact that if Drew Brees ran for governor, Drew Brees ran for mayor, some of us ain't lived in New Orleans since Katrina hit, we going to go back and vote for Drew. Just for the simple fact of who he is. So it's no different. It's no different. Like, I mean, he's a legend. But I will say this: he's not making Georgia look good at all. He's not making them look good at all with some of those stances and just this misinformed information he's putting out there. The parallels between Jameis and Stafford really are striking. Yeah, they really are, man. And I'm happy for Matthew Stafford. I've always been a Matthew Stafford fan, and I'm happy that he got that Super Bowl. I'm happy for him. And I always thought he was better than his situation. I feel like Jameis is better than what his situation was. If you look up the word Uncle Tom, Herschel Walker, and Clarence Thomas picture is below the word. Oh man. Very controversial individuals, to say the least. Accuracy also has to do with rhythm. Hard to do at times when your wide receivers can't get separation. That's a good point. Drew got my vote. I mean, that's just what it is, man. I mean, it's just the truth. Like, we love our legends. You know what I'm saying? We idolize those guys, and people do. And people and if Drew ran for public office, we don't know what type of political intellect Drew has, but we know that he threw for 70,000 yards and gave us a Super Bowl. That's good enough for me. So, I mean, it's just the star aspect of it. So, Brees winning a NOLA governor election with 90% of the vote. Yep. That's the truth. Marshawn Lattimore is such a great role model on how he is such a great dad to Yeah, man. Look, Marshawn Lattimore is definitely one of the best cornerbacks in the league. I'm glad that he gets this attention. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the entire sports world is really looking at the NFC South because of Tom Brady, and it also helps that some of his best games are against Mike Evans, right? So a lot of people are looking at those games and they're watching Lattimore do his thing. So he's starting to really get attention from the masses, which I feel like was long overdue. Current governor ever had a 5,000? Nope. Lattimore, the best cornerback in Saints history. Yeah, in my opinion, he is. I remember one time they had a guy. I don't know if you still watch this show or not, but guy told me that I would never amount to anything and my show was a waste of time. That was a couple of years ago. But anyway, he also said that Marshawn Lattimore wasn't good and the Saints need to cut him. I wonder where that guy is today, And, that guy motivated me in so many different ways, I mean, especially, since we got one of the top Saints podcasts out there right now, and he told me that the show would never amount to anything. But anyway, I wonder where he is right now because, I mean, Pro Football Focus, analytics are saying that this dude one of the top 5 corners in the league. He's even getting respect from some of the best wide receivers in football, saying that he's the hardest matchup that they have. So, wonder where that guy had done. That man, Dr. Oz, may actually become a senator. Yeah, man. I mean, look, the whole star appeal, I mean, like him or not, uh, Donald Trump had a lot to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Like people like looking at these celebrities, and he opened up the door for celebrities, what I'm saying, to take part in public office, you know what I'm saying? And have them believing that they actually have a chance. So they go all in. So for good, you know what I'm saying, for better or for worse, wherever side that you lean on. I mean, he opened up the floodgates for that. So now you got a bunch of people who probably have never had no issue, never like really had no thoughts of running for public office or felt like it wasn't attainable. He made the impossible possible. So a lot of these guys feel like they can do it, no matter if they know anything about politics, policies, or whatever. So it gives them that confidence. Vegas giving us 7.5 wins. What you think? I'm hoping for 11 or 12 myself. Well, look, I think that Vegas loves the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For some apparent reason, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, people just pretend like these guys just world beaters and nobody in the South have a chance against Tampa. And I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, God has blessed me, you know what I'm saying, to have some really good TVs in my home. And I watched a fair share of Saints games. And I gotta tell you, who that nation. They must be watching on a different TV or in a different world, because there's nothing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that scares me to a point where I just feel like the Saints don't have a chance to win the South. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not beaten the New Orleans Saints in the regular season. This will be, you know what I'm saying, like 4 tries, right? They beat them in the playoffs, but it seemed like everybody just holding on to that, right? I mean, once again, if we play 5 games of hustle or 21 and I beat you 4 out of 5 times, and that doesn't make you better than me because you beat me once. Okay. Maybe maybe they feel like, okay, somebody came out there with a trophy to the park and they said it's for real this time. Then all of a sudden, like, they won and all they better. No, man. I mean, how many times have we seen in the NCAA tournament? We seen teams who shouldn't even been in the same gym, or people felt like they shouldn't even been in the same gym as the team they're going up against, and they pull off the upset. But I don't know. The Saints to me looking like a 10, 11 win team. I don't know. I haven't done a prediction show just yet, but you got to be out your freaking mind if you just think that they are that much better than New Orleans Saints, man. I don't know what you smoking or what you've been drinking, but the Saints to me have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers number. But for some apparent reason, it's like nobody really pays attention to that. What is your Saints' favorite uniform? Mine is the gold pants and white jersey. I don't really have a favorite Saints uniform, to be honest with you, man. I really don't, the one they win in, you know what I'm saying? But I guess if I had to pick one, I mean, I guess it would be the color rush jerseys, you know what I'm saying, that they wear. I think they have the best color rush in NFL. I mean, their color rush is so good, I think they should be a part of their normal uniforms. I'm not, I'm not really a big fan of the white on white, you know what I'm saying, like that they have, not the color rush white on white, but the white on white where they play away. Like I don't really care for that. The black on black pretty good when they have the black out in the dome and stuff like that. I like that. Miami was ready to offer Peyton $100 million. He coaches next season. Best believe we getting good draft picks. Look, to be honest with you, man, I already knew that. I knew it. And I'm not trying to brag or boast, but I knew what team he was going to go, he was supposed to go to. Brian Flores blew that up, okay? That's just what it is. Brian Flores blew it up. Sean Payton was going to Miami, okay? And then when Brian Flores decided to sue, the Miami Dolphins and all that kind of stuff in the NFL, that kind of blew it up. And Sean Payton didn't want to be affiliated with that, okay? He didn't want to be the guy replacing the guy that's suing, right? So that's kind of what it was. It was going to happen, right? It was going to happen. It was going to happen. And to be honest with you, it wouldn't be surprising if it still happens. Like if Mike McDaniel don't pan out, Like, don't be surprised if he one and done. Don't be surprised if he one and done, and Sean Payton still end up coaching them. Tampa about to be without one of the top two wide receivers for a number of games, so I don't understand why people think Tampa is better. Even if they had their top wide receiver, I still feel like the Saints can beat them. It's not like, look, the Saints have played these dudes with all hands on deck, and the Saints still won. So I mean, it's no, I don't care who's playing. Like, I don't care who playing. I don't care who's out there. You know what I'm saying? I just think that the Saints are better. If you put the Saints best against Tampa best, the Saints winning. The Saints are winning. I'm going to take a few more, and then I'm going to get up out of here, folks. But thank y'all for being here. Everybody that's here right now, we got 142 people watching this right now. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. I would really appreciate that if you did. Thank you to everybody that donates to the show. I appreciate you all as well. The Colts beat the Patriots once in the AFC Championship game in 2005. Does that mean that the Colts were better than the Patriots? Going by the media's logic on the Saints versus the Bucs, they beat us once. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't believe it. And you got people that do, but I don't. TJ is really a good feeling to see Will Lutz back at 100% health, back to kicking again, because the kicking game cost us wins last year. Yeah, I agree. I think the loss of Will Lutz wasn't talked about enough. You winning at least 2 more games if Will Lutz was there. But it also, look, I hate that it happened, but I'm glad that it did. It showed us how important the kicking game is, because we don't really pay attention to it. Like, we've grown so accustomed to guys making, you know what I'm saying, like making field goals, or guys just kicking the ball. Like, we don't even really pay attention to how important that is. I mean, that's a huge part of the game, especially like if you're in a defensive struggle and you have yourself a kicker that can put the ball between the uprights to keep you ahead of go ahead lead. Who has drafted better than the Saints in the last 6 years? Who drafted better than the Saints in the last 6 years? I would have to say, I mean, I'll put Green Bay up in there. Green Bay has drafted really well over the last couple of years. Baltimore has drafted really well over the years. Steelers have drafted really well over the years. But if we talking about 6 years, yeah, you know, so I see some teams, but I say about the last 4 or 5, I would have to say the Saints have been the best. But I just think that we kind of put them over the hump because of that 2017 draft and all those guys getting paid and how instrumental they have been to the success of the Saints winning divisions and winning double-digit games year after year. But, I mean, for all that, I mean, we still got guys like Stanley Jean-Baptiste and we've had some stinkers now. We that 2000, what was that, 2014 or 2015 draft where only Brandon Cook was the only guy that stayed on the team, and now he was gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, we had some stinkers now. But I just think the 2017 draft kind of make us think differently about the team. But I mean, there are some teams out there that drafted really well, and they know how to develop players really well. So, I mean, but definitely the Saints are one of the best teams that drafted over the last 5 to 6 years. A great show today, Nephew. Hit that like button. People talk to you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Uncle Who that, appreciate it, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Green Bay, who have they drafted better? Dallas has drafted better than Green Bay. Adam Jones, right? Devontae Adams, right? Jair Alexander, Donnell Savage. I don't know, dude. The offensive linemen, you know what I'm saying, that they got out there. Yeah. They draft really good, dude. Like seriously, like the majority of the guys that's a part of their starting rotation are guys that they developed in that organization. Look, you may not like them, right? You know what I mean? Valdez Scantlin, guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they've drafted really well, and those guys have really helped this team. So I'm not going to say that they didn't, man. I mean, go and look at their team. Their team is really constructed of guys who have been drafted by the squad, So I'm not going to take that away from them. They're just like Green Bay is not one of those teams. Them, the Steelers and the Ravens are teams that build from in-house. They might get like one or two pieces to go along with the guys that they draft, but for the most part, the guys that's making waves and doing big things, they drafted them. So yeah, man, go and take a look. I mean, don't just take my word for it. You know what I'm saying? Like all this is, I mean, this is just me giving my opinion. Just go back and look. But the majority of those guys they drafted. I was about to have a heart attack seeing Cody Parkey try a field goal. Oh my goodness. Yeah, man. Double doink. And I ain't talking about the clown. Let's see. Can I take a number from the Trump playback to hit that like boot button 100 times? Can I take a number from the Trump playback? I don't know exactly what that meant. The only thing I said was he opened up the floodgates for celebrities, okay, to feel like they can win public office. I mean, however you feel about the guy, whatever. But I just think that he gave a lot of celebrities confidence, you know what I'm saying, to run for public office and feel like they can win because, people idolize celebrities. I'm trying to see. Ray says Falcons about care about the preseason games more than making the Super Bowl. I don't know what Falcon fans really care about. I just think their feelings are conditional. You know what I'm saying? Like if they come out the gate winning, they're gonna be all up in the chat talking about how good they are. When they lose, they ain't gonna be nowhere to be found. Look, I just don't have respect for the majority of Falcon fans. A few of them I do because I feel like they really genuinely care. But a lot of those people, when I look at Atlanta, it's a lot of posing going on. Like seriously, like, you got people out there that's legit, but you got a lot of posers out there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people trying to act like they own, make things more than what they is. And I just think that it applies to the football team too, right? You know what I'm saying? When they own, when they hot, they own. But when they losing, they nowhere to be found, right? I don't feel like that's a true fan. I'm sorry. Ravens kill it every year with the draft. They nail it again this year. Chiefs also have some good drafts as well. Yeah, I mean you got some teams that you can put out there. I meant fans, but I'm just picking at them. Yeah. Today is my birthday. Forget Trump. Acknowledge me. I meant fans, but already read that. Big country is cool for sure. That's right, birthday man. Yeah, man. Well, like I said, I just mentioned that because when it comes to celebrities, y'all know me. I hate politics. I really do. I don't like politics. I feel like that's the thing that disconnects us as a world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't stand things like that. I don't think that you can dictate who a person is based on their political affiliation. I just don't. I mean, in some cases, you know what I'm saying, like, people are hiding things because of their political affiliation, but I don't think that tells the whole story about everybody. But I just think that just divides us. And I'm against anything that divides us as people. I stay away from it. And we'll just end it with Keen Arthur. He says, TJ, what's the likelihood we see a more aggressive approach to the passing game? People think Juice and Mike T can only run short routes. Cooking a cornerback on a post is straight route running, not speed. Look, Keen Arthur, look, I think that you're going to see a bigger variety of I'm laughing at Ray talking about Beanie Wells. But anyway, I hear that name in a long time. Beanie Wells is the name that they gave me. I think you're gonna see a different variety of different play from these guys. I just think that people just think these guys are just one-dimensional, but I just think they had a lot to do with the way the Saints offense was constructed. I think you're going to see bigger plays, more down the field, throws to these guys, and I think that you're going to see a lot of production. But I also think that you're going to see a balanced attack. I think you're going to see a balanced attack from the Saints. I don't think they're just going to be bombs over Baghdad. You know what I'm saying? I think that you're going to see running the football and playing smash mouth football. Most defensive coaches, they like to have that type of personality. So I expect for Dennis Allen to bring that to the forefront. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Shouts out to everybody in the comments. I love this show. You know, we started off, the topic was minicamp, and then we started talking about every other thing. But that's what you get from the State of the Saints podcast. It's rapid fire. I don't know what direction the show is going to go in, but I love it. You know, and I shouts out to everybody here. Shouts out to everybody that listens to the show, that supports the show. I asked everybody to hit that like button if you enjoy the content, help the show grow, help us prosper. Also, you can check out the State of the Saints podcast Facebook page. The new Facebook page is available. The old one, I have no control over anymore. Somebody hacked into that account a couple months back. But the new State of the Saints podcast Facebook page is available right now. I put the link in the comments earlier. It should be the very first link when the show first started. So you can hit that link, join the show Facebook page, help it to grow. Also, previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. And shouts out to everybody, man, who listens, and also those that read the articles from the Who That Dish. I'm a contributor with the Who That Dish. So go to whothatdish.com, read some of the articles that I put out there, support that. And manscaped.com, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. Father's Day is just around the corner. It's a couple of days away. You can give gifts to your dad or your husband or your boyfriend by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code State of Saints. That's all one word, State of Saints. You will save 20% off on your purchase. So I'm asking everybody who has not already, go to manscaped.com, use that promo code State of Saints, save that 20% off, and I really appreciate that. Mocha, thank you very much for the $5 donation. I appreciate that, man, on the way out. And I hope everybody has a good morning, noon, night, whenever you're checking out this podcast. Like always, all I got to say is, who that?